Hey everyone, this is Rabbit's Blog Animation Bliss, and welcome to another anime news. So today's anime news is that Arctic Dogs, the most recent anime film being released, had just become one of the biggest box office bombs for any animated film. And before I get into this, I would like to remind everyone that new videos will be posted up every Sunday and Monday. If you happen to see any videos posted up during the week, that must mean there was a bit of anime news released during the week that we wanted to cover. So those would be considered special videos. So now let's talk about this big bit of news that Arctic Dogs had just become one of the biggest box office bombs in animation history. And the fact is, it's because this movie was it took $50 million to make this movie, and the movie only made back $3.1 million back in the box office, which is like really low. That's like really bad. So I am shocked that that had happened. And I wanted to talk about why this film possibly became one of the biggest box office bombs of all time. The first reason I think is because the film wasn't advertised very well. Like, a lot of people didn't know that this film had existed until the day it was released in theaters. Like, I didn't know this film existed until it was released in theaters, and everybody was like talking about it. And I was like, "Oh, Arctic Dogs came out? What's that film? I never heard of that film." And I think that if the company had just advertised the film a few months before the movie was actually released, like with Frozen 2, we already knew that the movie was being released because it was advertised like a few months before November that Frozen 2 is coming out, and now Frozen 2 is coming out November 22nd. So we already knew that Frozen 2 is coming out because it was already advertised a few months before that Frozen 2 is coming out. And I think with Arctic Dogs, if they had just advertised that movie like a few months before it was released in November, it probably would have done a little better because at least a lot of people would have known that this movie had existed at the time. So I think that's one of the biggest issues with this film being a box office bomb, is that it wasn't advertised very well, and a lot of people just didn't know that this film was being released until it was released in theaters. And another reason why I think this movie was a big box office bomb was because, according to a lot of people, they said that the story and the characters weren't that good. Like I said, I haven't seen this film yet, so I can't really comment on that. But according to what a lot of people said, the characters and the story wasn't that good. And if the characters and the story in the film is not that good, then yeah, a film is going to bomb at the box office because a lot of the audience is not going to be that invested in the characters. So they'll be like, why should I care about these characters if they're not that good? So why should I support this movie if the characters are not that good or the story's not that good? And of course, you're going to need that for a successful movie. And even over at Rotten Tomatoes, it got a 14% score, which is pretty low. So those are some factors about why this movie had bombed so hard at the box office, and the fact that it took $50 million to make this movie and it only made back $3.1 million back is like really bad. It's like, it just shows just how hard this film had bombed, and I am shocked that this had happened to Arctic Dogs. So yeah, this was a pretty bit of shocking news to hear over the weekend. But let me know in the comments down below. Have you guys seen Arctic Dogs? And if you had, did you like the film? Did you hate the film? Were you shocked that this film what became one of the biggest box office bombs in all of history? And what were some other animated films that you know of that were big box office bombs too? Please feel free to comment down below, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter so we can keep you updated on any new videos we post up. And also like our Facebook page. And also join our new Facebook group called Chat with Animation Bliss, where we talk about animation with other animation fans. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rabbit's Blog Animation Bliss, and I'll see you later.